Hi everyone. So in this presentation, I'm going to be walking through the Alpha Corp acquisition case using the fraud triangle theory. Just to give a quick overview of what I will cover. First of all, I will identify the three elements of the fraud triangle as they appeared in this case. Then I'll talk about how those elements together increase the risk of financial statements fraud. And finally, I will recommend three specific audit procedures that Apex auditors should be carrying out. So let's start. Number one, the fraud triangle elements. The fraud triangle was developed by Donald Cressy, and it basically says that fraud happens when three things are present at the same time: pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. Pressure. So the first element is pressure. This refers to some kind of financial or personal motivation that pushes someone to commit fraud. In this case, there are actually two pressure points happening at the same time. The first one is the performance bonuses. Alpha Corp's management team is going to receive significant bonuses that are directly tied to the profitability metrics reported in the acquisition due diligence package. So basically, the better the numbers look, the more money management takes home. That is a very direct financial incentive to manipulate the financial statements. The second pressure point is the CEO, Mr. David Chen. He recently lost a significant amount of personal wealth because of a failed stock market venture and is reportedly under personal financial stress right now. When someone at that level of authority is under serious financial pressure, that dramatically increases the risk that they might use their position to manipulate financial figures for personal gain. The second element is opportunity. This is about whether the person actually has the ability to commit fraud without being caught. And here the case gives a very clear signal. The internal controls at Alpha Corp were described in previous working paper as adequate but easily overridden by senior management. That's a very big problem. This is a massive red flag. It means the controls exist only on paper, but they don't actually constrain the people at the top. The CFO and senior management can bypass them easily. So if someone wanted to inflate profits, inflate revenue, and they wanted to inflate inventory, they can easily do so. Rationalization. This is the mental justification that a fraudster uses to tell themselves what they're doing is okay. This one is slightly harder to prove because it lives inside someone's mind, someone's head, but we can infer it from the situation. In this case, management might rationalize by telling themselves that the inventory figures will correct themselves after the acquisition closes anyway. So we can go away with committing fraud in the finance sector. It is okay. They might also think that acquisition is going to happen regardless of whether we commit the fraud or not. So they rationalize in their head that let's commit the fraud. How these elements increase fraud risk. Now, individually, each of these elements is concerning, but the fraud triangle theory tells us that the real danger is when all three are present at the same time. The specific fraud risk highlighted in this case is inventory overstatement and revenue recognition manipulation. Inflating inventory boosts the balance sheet and makes the company more asset heavy. Pulling revenue forward into quarter four or recognizing it prematurely inflates the profitability metrics. Both directly feed into the due diligence package that Beta Inc. is relying on its price is relying on to value this acquisition. This case already gives us one suspicious signal. Inventory turnover improved dramatically in quarter four at Alpha Corp. At the same time that industry peers are reporting supply chain disruptions. So, you have a motivated CFO who's under financial stress, management bonuses you have, weak internal controls you have, senior people can override that, and an unexplained positive swing in inventory during a period when industry was going the other way. When you put all of that together, the risk of fraud and material misstatement in financial statements is very high. So, what audit procedures would I recommend? Number one, physical inventory count and independent verification. Apex auditors should conduct a surprise physical inventory check at both Alpha Corp's warehouse or production locations. This should not be scheduled in advance. No one should know about this. The auditors need to independently count and verify the physical stock against the inventory records in the systems. Number two, second procedure. Detailed revenue cutoff testing. The auditors need to do proper cutoff testing around the quarter four date. This means selecting a sample of sale transactions recorded in quarter four and tracing each one back to the source document, customer orders, shipping order to confirm that revenue was recognized in the right period. Procedure 3, direct communication with the audit committee, bypassing the CFO. Given that Mr. David Chen is a key fraud risk factor here, Apex auditors should not rely on information flowing through him alone. They should escalate the concerns directly to the audit committee or the board of directors. ISA 240 requires auditors to communicate identified fraud risks to those charged with governance, not the CFO, the board of directors. Conclusion. So, to wrap it up, this case is a textbook example, a clear example of all three fraud triangle elements present at the same time. The uh, rationalization, opportunity, and motivation. Apex auditors need to take this very seriously, and three procedures which I recommended are specifically designed to get the truth of what happened in quarter four before Data Inc. completes the acquisition. Thank you very much.